Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. Brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York, and Southwest Suffolk County on Long Island, making the transition over from winter to spring. They've got mulch, they've got topsoil, they've got sand, and just in case we ever get a winter storm, they've got still plenty of salt, obviously. And they are the Long Island's largest rock salt source and your source for everything else. 631-756-1125, the phone number, website, omnitruevalue.com. Got a cold front that's moving on through. It's taking its sweet time, of course, but it is doing so. The steady rain is over, but still some showers, and you still see a lot of clouds out to the west. So it's going to take a little while for weather conditions to really improve. And that cold shot, by the way, has moved down into the southeastern part of the U.S. The cold front is running along the Carolina coast and down across North Florida and into the Gulf of Mexico and pushing eastward. And that's where most of the weather lies at this point today. As we check out the latest radars, some scattered light showers here across parts of Delaware and southeastern Pennsylvania into central New Jersey. A little more numerous as you get into southern and central New England. The steady area of rain, though, from overnight and this morning is all offshore. And then got this line of showers in the Carolinas down to southeast Georgia and into North Florida with a thunderstorm or two embedded in the bottom of that line. That is moving on toward the east. Not a whole lot going on precip-wise elsewhere. And here's the front as of 1 o'clock this afternoon. Wave that developed on it is sitting right in southeastern New Hampshire at the moment and runs down the coast. So it's going to be, it's probably already moved offshore of New Jersey, and then it continues south into another weak wave in western North Carolina, and then that cold front extends down into Florida. There's a shot of cold air behind it. It's a relatively minor shot of cold air, and that's what we'll be dealing with going forward. The liquid precip amounts for the next 7 days. So this takes us through next Friday evening, looking at a quarter of an inch, half to 3/4 in upstate New York and New England, a half to 3/4 in the Ohio Valley, and an area of 3/4 of an inch to an inch and a half in parts of Kentucky and northern Tennessee. Busy up in the northwestern part of the U.S. And in the Northern Rockies, where we're probably going to see some upslope snows develop early next week with the next weather system coming eastward and some heavy precip going on in the Pacific Northwest. Snow-wise, this probability of at least 2 inches, and this takes us from tonight into Monday night. It's mostly in the Northwest, in Idaho, Montana, and parts of Wyoming. We also have a 50% higher probability in the Dakotas and up in northern Minnesota, and not much, if any at all, probability in the Northeast. Down the long range, a little bit of a change because it's been so quiet. So this is Monday into Tuesday up in the Northern Rockies. This is the probability of at least a few. Then as we move on into Wednesday, as we mentioned, that upslope snow potential here. So you've got a lot of areas here showing 50 to as high as 90% probability of at least a few. Come Thursday, we're talking South Dakota, northern Nebraska, into Wisconsin, where the probabilities are 50% or higher for at least a few inches. And then we have a 10 to 30% chance in parts of upstate New York and interior New England. And then as we move Thursday into Friday of next week, we have some higher probabilities of 30 to 50 and 50 to 70% well up into upstate New York and northern New England, with 10 to 30 down to south of I-90 into southern New York and then back across Great Lakes. So as we take a look at what we're going to be seeing going forward, it's continues to be this sort of wash, rinse, repeat scenario. This front moves out. The record highs are done, and we'll actually have a whole day of seasonal temperatures on Saturday. So we'll be down in the 20s tonight. Highs tomorrow will be in the lower 40s. Should see a fair amount of sunshine. There'll be a gusty wind tonight into tomorrow morning in the northeast and northern mid-Atlantic states, but we should have a good deal of sunshine on Saturday. It's the President's Day holiday weekend. The high drifts down to North Carolina. We get into a bit of a west wind on Sunday, or a west-southwest wind, so temperatures should bounce up to the upper 40s and low 50s. And I think on Monday, we should have a mix of sun and clouds early, probably some more clouds later in the day because there's a weak front that's going to be coming through. Doesn't have much with it, but we should be into the 50s on Monday. Slightly colder behind it, some weak weather systems later next week trying to come into the eastern part of the United States. You see most of that moisture here moving eastward, maybe some rain on Wednesday. And then we have a bit of a stronger low that comes out of the Rockies and heads over into the lower lakes. And that could produce some sizable snows from the Rockies to the plains to the Great Lakes next Tuesday into Thursday. Here in the Northeast, we'll probably get some precip Wednesday night into Thursday morning, mostly rain, maybe some colder temperatures to the north will produce some snow and ice in central and northern New England and upstate New York. And that'll be followed by a cold front with a shot of, let's call it more impressive cold air. Depends on how much of it gets in here for later next Friday and next weekend. Now, the models are hinting that maybe, just maybe, we could see some white stuff late next weekend. Both the European and the GFS are showing this system here. In the kind of winter we've had, you have to remain skeptical anytime the models are showing any kind of snow in the long range. So we're just going to put it on the back burner for a while, and we will revisit this on Sunday, on the Sunday morning Joe and Joe Weather Show, if it's still there, at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Weather in 5 is brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon. 631-756-1125 is the phone number, and the website is omnitruevalue.com. So have a great Friday and have a great holiday weekend. We'll see you Sunday morning at 11 a.m.